Hi, what's up everybody? Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome back to more CSGO news, a double upload. We've had a lot of these over the past few days, and I hope you guys really do enjoy. All of today's stories will be timestamped down below. Some huge stories. I'm super curious what you guys think about these stories because they will continue over the next few days. First and foremost though, that being the Furia story, the curse continues, everybody. It's just there. When you sign a long contract with anyone out there, it's probably not going to last. Virtus Pro, MIBR, Furia has now joined that list that is ever growing out there as they signed 5-year contracts 3 months ago. And 3 months to this date today, we actually have them apparently benching AbleJ and signing Hen1, although it did happen yesterday. So they didn't even last 3 months of those supposed 5-year contracts. Now, apparently though, according to Ryan at Rush B, it might be that when they are benched, these contract buyouts are cut in half. Either way though, in my opinion, you guys are of course entitled to yours. We probably have mixed feelings about this. I cannot see any Brazilian team out there, especially lower tier, even if his contract buyout is 50% off, actually forking up the money for a guy like AbleJ, who did, albeit give credit where credit is due, guys. He worked his way up through the academy to the starting roster itself, and he has now been benched after 3 months of that 5-year contract. And I really don't know how much else to say. I'm a bit surprised by this. It did take me by, caught me off breath and caught me off guard because following a terrible major run for a Furia who we all thought was pretty solid, right? They had some shaky results here and there, especially being a rising Brazilian team. Were they really solidified when they did reach top 5? It was a question of concern, and a major run that was definitely not living up to those high expectations. I was surprised they didn't last a bit longer with that roster, which did crack the top 5 in the world. So we will see if anyone out there can actually fork up the cash for this guy, or else, if it is a full 5-year contract, welcome AbleJ to a 5-year bench sitting, because I don't know who's going to take the risk on him. I'm sure down the line maybe someone would. We just don't know the exact range or amount that he would actually cost to be bought out from those lengthy Nike contracts. Now, alongside that, I think in our second story, even more interesting, super weird out there, it's actually JR, formerly of Vega Squadron. I'm sure you guys know the name. He has now been receiving a military notice of his country, I believe to be Ukraine. And well, this is a very kind of a skeptical issue because across many countries out there, there's a wide variety of restrictions and of course enforcements and guidelines when it comes to these military enlistments. You know, some countries are very strict about this. You cannot get out of it. I'm not sure how Ukraine would work around this, guys. I want to give reference though to a YouTuber I used to watch. He's actually from Latvia, so obviously a different country. It could not apply to JR. We're not really sure what he will do until we wait for the response on his military request. It was actually a friend though, a RuneScape YouTuber. I'm sure some of you guys know who he was. He was very public about this, guys. He received the same military request to enlist and do his time or service for his country. What he did though was he relocated, avoided the request as well, and they apparently did not go after him whatsoever. And he was very public about him actually relocating and leaving his current residence to somewhere else unknown, and it seems like his government did not choose to pursue him, although I've seen rumors out there across the thread as well that apparently when it comes to Ukraine, there could be no jail time, no punishment, a very, very small fine, and so JR is probably not going to be forced to join, but we'll see exactly what he does do because each and every country is very different. Yes, plenty of people have avoided enlistment or avoided punishment in the past, but that does not mean he could not face some punishment if he chooses to avoid this as well. Especially being a public figure, it's pretty obvious to see if you are a government and you request a certain character and all of a sudden he's playing professional esports somewhere else, you might be thinking, I thought you were going to serve our army and now you're not and you're playing video games. Who knows? Because a friend was also a public YouTuber and he was just fine. So I don't think it's as serious as we're making it out to be. It's still very unfortunate though if he does have to serve. Obviously nothing wrong with serving your country, but when you are actually choosing this esports as a profession, this is obviously a very bad timing for a profession where you only have such a small age window you can perform as an esports player. But he also could relocate, try and avoid this until he actually is the age of, I believe, 27, where you're no longer eligible to have to do this military enlistment or military service for his country of Ukraine. Now, alongside that, guys, we actually do have a cheating video out this morning. You guys are probably, a few of you have already seen that as well. Thank you for the great response. If you guys are not aware, ESEA for DreamHack qualifiers, other event qualifiers as well, have been flooded with cheaters. I made a video solely about that, guys, as over the past month or so, nearly a dozen or close to that of a dozen pro players have been complained about this, having faced off against cheating teams in some round of ESEA qualifiers, which I'm sure you guys know can be very detrimental to a team team and their performance. If you face off against a cheating team in an early round of a very, very unknown qualifier, you don't get those matches back if the cheating team is eventually caught. Those matches are forfeited, you lose them, and you don't get those replays usually, and so it can be very detrimental for the future of a lot of these up-and-coming and other teams out there. So I'll link that video down below if you guys do want to check that out. ESEA cheating is seemingly at an all-time high. And then for our next story out there, guys, a lot of contradictory statements apparently around the Aleksib contractual agreements and the signing of Sunny in place of Aleksib being benched on that roster. Still not bought out. A forum thread out there if you guys have not seen about this. Also a Finnish article apparently calling out the hypocrisy in the statements made by the players, the teams, and Aleksib, which make the entire situation very confusing. Now, I will wait for ENCE to maybe comment on this. I think Natu's pretty involved to maybe respond about these contractual allegations. That being apparently ENCE was trying some form of trickery to try and actually extend Aleksib's contract and then bench him. Therefore, his actual buyout would remain or be even larger for other teams trying to approach him. Obviously, a very kind of somewhat scummy business tactic to try and get more money out of Aleksib while they still were going to bench him. If you guys have not seen the article, I will link it down below if you do speak Finnish or have a translator as well. The article goes on to talk about how some players apparently said these moves, that being acquiring Sunny and benching Aleksib, they wanted for months, although Natu said they actually gave Aleksib weeks to kind of adjust to this shock, and apparently he did obviously know before the major he would be benched after the major. And of course we do have Aleksib's statement himself saying this all came out of the blue. It was a shock. It took him by surprise, and so some very misleading statements by all three parties here. Very last, if you guys look at the statement made by ENCE themselves when they actually acquired Sunny, the entire team was actually contractually signed until the end of 2021. It was not clarified if Aleksib was also included in that, because if that is true, we're going to wait for ENCE to maybe confirm or deny this, as it's not been done yet. It has not been confirmed or denied if he was actually a part of that extension to 2021 and then he was benched. That's where the problem would lie, right? You know you're going to bench someone, you re-sign him anyway. Maybe you mislead him to thinking that he's actually going to still be on the team, and then you bench him and his buyout still is there. If not, if he signed a larger contract, his buyout would then likely be larger as well. Now, Aleksib is not confirmed or denied this. The team is not confirmed or denied it. It's just a rumor as of right now. It does not seem like a move that ENCE would make, but it's certainly in the realm of possibility for a team who's trying to make money off a player they had signed for so long. We'll wait for comment on this, guys, and definitely a very interesting story around all the statements made by the players, the team, the management. Definitely some different angles on the story itself. Now, speaking of the team that Aleksib was potentially going to join and is obviously now not going to join, that being FaZe, they finally done it. They finalized one of their players. We should know probably by today, tomorrow, or the 26th, their final 5th player to be Coldzera. As of right now, though, we'll take what we can get, guys. They have now finally finalized their 4th member. That's going to be Broky to join this team of heavy firepower, and I'm sure you guys are very well know about this as well. When they took this picture of Broky, they took it in front of the most reflective surface on Earth besides a bathroom mirror, clearly showing a figure in the back taking the picture, and it was Coldzera. All right, everyone knows it. He's going to be the 5th, but when he is announced and confirmed officially, I'll be covering it here, because this team, it looks deadly on paper. I don't know how the IGL role is going to work on Nico, how the tactics is going to work on this team. I'm still worried about that, but strictly based off firepower and sheer just damage, this team is looking nuts. It should be FaZe Coldzera sometime soon. I'm hyped up. But yeah, until then, I'll be here sipping coffee, breaking down esports and gaming news for all of you guys who continue to watch me. All right? Thank you for all enjoying. You guys are great. You guys are awesome. I'll see you back here sometime soon. Okay? Bye.